Hey y'all, and welcome back to this week's Game Over News. For today, we have news about the new LEGO Mario restocking of the special edition Animal Crossing Switch and the recently cancelled E3 2020 convention. Before we get to that, last week I asked which boss from the Zelda series gave you the most trouble, to which Terry answered that Thunderblight Ganon from Breath of the Wild was their difficult one. I can certainly relate. The other blights really weren't that bad, but that one, a little tougher than the rest. This week I'm asking who your favorite side character in a Zelda game is. I'll let you know my answer at the end, although anyone who's been around since I first joined this channel probably already knows the answer. So with that, I am your host, the Geek Apprentice. Now let's get to it. Last week we had Mario Day, March 10th, which for anyone who doesn't understand the correlation, the abbreviation for March is just M-A-R, and then when you put the 10 after it, it looks like an I and an O, so Mario Day. And on that day, Nintendo hinted to something very cool, a brand new LEGO Mario set. We've already discussed this a little bit on our podcast, the 𝐓𝐳𝐿𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽, but for those who were not able to catch that live stream or rewatch it, essentially, they teased it on their Twitter account on the 10th, but on the 12th released a full trailer of it. The trailer was pretty simple, showcasing the set with all of its features and sounds. It's pretty adorable, and I wish this had been a thing when I was a kid. If you're not quite as crazy as me and couldn't make it for the midnight launch at Walmart for the special edition Animal Crossing Switch, but are still vying to get this beauty, lift up your heads, because many stores online across the US and Canada and probably other places are restocking. Both Target and Amazon restocked for a hot second on their websites before they were snatched up, naturally. But I do know that some Targets are getting more shipments in of this Switch for walk-in customers. So call around to your local stores to see what you can find out, because it definitely is going to vary by location. I'm telling you, this Switch is even more beautiful in person than I had originally imagined. I mean, I knew it was going to look good, but wow, it's gorgeous. Not to mention it has the extended battery life, which is a nice plus. On that note, if you are somewhat considering getting that Switch for the sake of playing Animal Crossing on it, get it before you start your Animal Crossing Island. Because for those who don't know, you cannot transfer Island. Yes, I was able to transfer all my save data from my old Switch to this Switch, but if Animal Crossing had already been on my old Switch, I would not have been able to transfer the island, so just keep that in mind while you're still deciding. With so many conventions, sporting events, businesses, and even schools shutting down as a preventative measure due to the outbreak of the coronavirus, it was kind of no surprise when the E3 Twitter account announced officially that they were canceling this year's E3 convention. While the convention isn't until June, the US is in the beginning stages of getting it, so it would be kind of dangerous to still let people come in June when we're probably just going to be fading out of it, just as a preventative measure. So even if this seems like a super dramatic call, it's better to err on the side of safety. E3 did say they were working with the different gaming companies to see if they could put on some big online presentation, and while that doesn't make up for everything, at least it might be something. No word from Nintendo at this point, but I think it's pretty safe to say they'll still have their own kick-butt direct to feature at that time. I mean, at this point, with how many directs they host a year, they could just have their own event. I mean, some people, like me, that's all we care about anyway, so just a thought. Okay, that is all for this week's Game Over News. Be sure to subscribe and check out all of our other Game Over GameOverJessie content, both scripted videos and our podcast, the 𝐓𝐳𝐿𝐽𝐽𝐽𝐽. Also, my answer to this week's question is that Iliya from Twilight Princess is one of my favorite side characters in the Zelda series. People give her a hard time and I literally don't get it. It's pretty much 100% unjustified. She's independent, calls Link out on his negligence, and freaking gives her all to save the Zora Prince when she doesn't even remember who she is. That's pretty awesome. Also, in terms of shipping goes, as dumb as it is, she's the only candidate. Like, Link never talks to Zelda in that game, like, ever, so that's not a candidate. Midna's a completely other species, and they work better as friends. Iliya is meant to be the long lifetime best friend that he ends up falling in love with. She's just the best choice, okay? The other two don't make any sense. Okay, all my sass aside, thank you so much for watching this week's video, and we'll catch you in the next one.